Yo, 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 yo. What's up? What's up? Welcome to the So What You Saying podcast. As of course, I'm your host, Willie Will. What's going on, everybody? How's everybody doing on this lovely, wonderful, wonderful, wonderful Friday evening? I want to thank you thank you for those of y'all who are joining us via Facebook. Those of you joining us via Instagram, and those of y'all joining us via Twitch. Once again, thank you for joining us. This is I, of course, am your host, Willie Will. And what is this? We're going to have a wonderful time this week on today's show. Uh, I called it Spooky Season Part 2 because we will do another spooky movie review. This week's spooky movie review, again, voted by you guys, is Hellraiser, 1987. Uh, I'm going to tell you, I'm going to be honest with you. I really didn't want to watch this movie. This damn movie was very disgusting from beginning to end. Hey, Jaja. Happy Friday, as always. Um, yeah, I really didn't. Again, I really didn't want to watch this movie. This movie was plain old disgusting. I mean, I don't know like how or better to say it was gross. It was grotesque. It was definitely a horror flick. It was more of a I don't know. We would call it maybe a psychological type thriller if you really want to go somewhere. But it was oh god, it was grotesque. I sat here this afternoon. I got up. I made breakfast. I made my coffee. I'm going to sit down. I'm going to watch this movie, and I'm going to spend an hour and a half of my day watching this movie. And I forgot, and I'm going to be honest, I forgot just how grotesque this movie really is. I mean, let me tell you something. There are some scenes in this movie that just make me want to throw up my I guess you would say breakfast slash brunch that I had. Oh my god, it was that bad. But I got through it. That hour and a half is over, and then I started set up for the show, and I got ready to come here and be with you guys for the evening. Also, besides the movie, we're going to discuss Alex Jones. Now, for those of you guys who don't know who it is, Alex Jones is who he is a conspiracy theorist. Of course, he's white, and he was ordered to pay 1 billion, not a million, not a couple hundred thousand, not $1 billion to the families of the Sandy Hook school shooting that happened in Connecticut. He was ordered to pay $1 billion. Why, you ask? I will tell you about that, and I will give you my feelings about it and the reason why I feel the way I feel about it. Also, for those of y'all who have not seen, Kanye West is crazy still, very crazy still, and Kanye West is has somebody has decided that he's too crazy and we don't want his business anymore. Who that is, I'll tell you that. And also, we'll talk about some little minor things. Of course, I'm giving away the Get the Fuck Out of Here award. Definitely giving that away. And you will definitely see who that goes to. And you will definitely agree to who that goes to. But, of course, before we get into any of that, I got to tell you guys where to find me on the regular, how to reach out to me, how to, get into join the conversation. Because if you want to be honest, I want you guys to join the conversation and have your feelings about anything that's going on. So, how would you do that? You can always email me at sowwhatyousaying5@gmail.com. That's SOWUTUSAYIN5 at gmail.com. You can also find me on Facebook at So What You Saying. We are streaming there right now live. You can find us on Instagram at So What You Saying. Again, we are streaming there live. You can find us on Twitter at What's Saying. You can hit us up on our link tree. So What You Saying, which is where you can find us all over the place. And there's one place I haven't put up here. I'm gonna put that up there for next week's show. Is Twitch. Please, anybody go to twitch.tv/so what you saying and give us a follow. Your follow helps build the community, and it helps us become a bigger brand. So again, go to www.twitch.tv/so what you saying, and please give us a follow on Twitch and help build the community, and will help for everybody to find us and join us on a weekly basis. So, how was everybody's week? I'll tell you how my week was. My week was fucking boring. Keep it 100% honest with you. My week was boring as shit. What did I do all week? Oh, well, because I am still recovering from my accident, I did nothing. I can't wait to go back to work. Granted, going back to work is going to change how I do this, but not really, because this will still be done once every week, and I will be here with you guys every week. But it's just hard sitting at home, really doing nothing but recovering. My ankle is not. I'm walking around pretty well. My shoulder is not as bad as it was some weeks ago. Although I still get, I still get some instances where it tweaks, and that's fine. I knew that was going to be part of the recovery process, and I was gonna hope I could get to it. But yeah, this week was boring. This is boring. Like I said, the most exciting part of my week was cooking. Um, you know, Seeing what you guys wanted me to watch for a movie review. Which, oh my God, oof, oof, jeez Louise. You know, you guys are great. I love you guys, but the way you choose the movie you guys chose this week made me want to throw up my lunch, and I mean my brunch. Let me say that, and it really it really hurt my feelings this week, but it's okay because I got through it, and you know I'm another week down, another movie down. Next week's movie, which will be, I think, the week before Halloween. Wait, hold on. Let me check my calendar. Let me see how many movies we got left. We got 2 weeks. So we got next week's movie, and then we've got the movie that we're gonna do for Halloween. Um, I'm gathering up more movies. It's gonna be a completely different list than it was this week. There'll be no repeat movies this week. Um, but we will have a bunch of different movies going on for next week's review, and we'll see what you pick next week. See if you'll actually make me throw up my lunch next week, because this movie was horrible. But anyway, so let's get to the get. Let's get to the get to. I guess I'll start with Alex Jones. So let me just say this. There are people on the face of this earth which I don't really agree with 100% the shit that they do. And I've said it a million times, from our former president to Kanye West, to, again, as genius of a musician as he is, he's crazy in the fucking head. But this shit that I saw that I'm about to discuss right now is some of the stupidest and craziest shit I have ever seen in my entire life. What am I talking about? Alex Jones. Like I said at the beginning, he was ordered to pay about $1 billion in damages. Why? Well, if you don't know, sorry, ladies and gentlemen, I pressed the button. Don't know how I did that, but okay. Sorry, ladies and gentlemen, I pressed the button. Don't know how I did that. Okay, we should be okay now. Okay, so again, like I said, okay, we should be okay now. Okay, so that's why. Okay. That's why. That's how I'm like, what the heck? Anyway, can't have that happen. Okay, so this is what's gonna happen. I'm gonna show you why this man, in order to pay almost $1 billion in damages, and you'll understand why. And I'll be back to let you guys to give you my thoughts and let you know why I am glad this thing has to do this. So here you go. And
For a decade, the far-right conspiracy theorist slash media personality Alex Jones has been saying that the Sandy Hook massacre did not actually happen. 26 people died in that Connecticut school shooting in 2012. 20 of them were first graders. All of those victims had families. And those families, thanks to Jones's lies, not only lost a loved one, but have faced a decade of harassment and threats from Jones's followers. All while Alex Jones himself has profited. Today, a jury in Connecticut unanimously ordered that Alex Jones and his company pay $965 million in damages to the families of 8 victims from that shooting. That comes on top of the $49 million Jones has already been ordered to pay in a similar case in Texas. Amazingly, Jones was live on his show when today's verdict came out. And despite hearing exactly how he's hurt these families, just a staggering amount of pain and anguish that's been described in detail over the course of this trial. Despite that fact, and the fact that he now faces $1 billion in damages, Alex Jones still believes this is all just one big joke.
so there you go. That is why Alex Jones has been ordered to pay $1 billion, or almost. Well, yeah, pretty much $1 billion. 965 million to 8 families in Sandy Hook, Connecticut. 49 million to for a family in Texas, and so that's he's out $1 billion. But for him, that's probably a drop in the bucket. But this is bigger than, much bigger than the verdict that was passed along in Connecticut. Much bigger. I'm going to tell you why. In the last couple years, we've had people doing stupidness. We've had our former celebrity in chief talking about an election was stolen. Although there was no proof, there was no evidence, and you still got him, he's still running around talking about this election was stolen. He still got people running around talking about this election was stolen. right? So, okay, we've got people running around talking racist crap, and we have people going around killing and murdering innocent black, brown, Hispanic people. This is This is why this is bigger than that verdict, and why this is bigger than anything that you could possibly imagine. Of course, $965 million. That's almost $1 billion. And then he starts to pay another 49 in Texas. So that's over $1 billion worth of money he's got to shell out. And the reason this is bigger than that is because the 8 families of those 8 children who have died are now going to get closure on this. Of course, he's going to appeal this because he's a white dude and he don't want to give no money, no bread. He's about that money. He's about his power. And for some reason, in this country, money equates to power. But the reason it really is truly is bigger is it's finally letting people know, hey, you can't just go and say what the fuck you want and think you're going to fucking get away with it. 20 families lost their children. You heard it in the report. 20 families lost their children. And to have this being brought up by somebody who's dumb enough to run around and say the whole thing was a hoax. We'll go to those grave sites of those children that have passed and the adults and tell them that it was a hoax. Go to the houses and families of people that were injured during all this and tell them that it was a hoax. Because my thing is, there's dead bodies. How the fuck on God's green earth, heaven, hell, or anywhere in between, could you look at this shit and be like, it was a fucking hoax? Somebody tell me. Somebody tell me. It would be nice for somebody to tell me how this was a fucking hoax. Really? This whole thing was a hoax. But the reason it's bigger is because I feel like what's going to happen is it's going to show people that you just can't run around and say what you want and not pay a price and a penalty. Now, it'd be different if they hit them with $20 million, $30 million, even $40 million, or even $100 million. I would still say it's a slap on the wrist. No, they hit this man with almost $1 billion in Connecticut and 49 in Texas, which combines for over $1 billion. And personally, I am happy to see that he got hit. Because at the end of the day, you deserve everything you got because you playing with these families, you playing with their dead children's lives. And they don't deserve that. You're running around on national, on your platform, on your podcast, or wherever you said it, and you're saying this is a hoax. These people don't deserve that at all. Those dead children, God rest their soul, don't deserve that at all. Those injured adults or children or dead adults for all the Sandy Hook massacre, they don't deserve that. What you did was 100% wrong. 100% wrong. And the problem with this, and the best thing about this whole thing, he gonna have to pay that money. Now, this is not gonna bring these children back. Nothing will. And again, I don't care how long it's been. Condolences to the families who lost these kids. But at least one person is going to have to pay that price. Or a second person is going to have to pay a price because they decided they just wanted to run their mouth. And I'm happy about this because, again, it's showing you just can't run around, say what you want, and not pay a penalty for it. There are things that you should be able to say, your opinions, your thoughts, but when it comes to people who have lost their lives because of whatever, you should not be able to say what you want, and you should have to pay a price for that. 100%, you should have to pay a price for that. And Alex Jones is going to pay a heavy price for that. Because that's $1 billion homie got to shell out. Now, again, he may go to court, appeal it. He's going to appeal it. You know he's going to appeal it. You know he's not going to want to pay it. But he's probably going to go to court. He's going to appeal it. And what's going to end up happening is they may bring it down. They may not bring it down. But either way, he's going to have to pay that money. He's going to have to pay the price. He's going to have to pay the piper. And that's what he deserves. And he gets exactly what he deserves. Exactly what he deserves. All right, so now let's get to this week's movie review. And then I'll talk about who kicked Kanye's business to the side. And granted, it's not nobody small either. So, in 1987, your man Clive Barker directed a cult classic. I believe he directed it. I know. Yes, he directed it. And it's based on, he directed a cult classic called Hellraiser. My stomach is still hurting by the fact that I had to watch this movie. And this movie was disgusting. Every which way but loose. The movie was disgusting. But he directed a movie based on a book called The Hellbound Heart, if I'm not mistaken. And this movie starred some lesser-known actors and actresses. Ashley Lawrence, who plays Christy in the movie. Andrew Robinson, who played her father, I think Larry was his name. Claire Higgins, I believe she played, what's her name? Is it Laura? I believe that's what her name is. Sean Chapman, whose biggest role is playing Frank Cotton. And Doug Bradley, who everybody knows as Pinhead. He is when you talk Pinhead, he's the man. He's the man. So this movie was released on September 10th, 1987 in London, and of course it made its way here to the US. Now I'm gonna tell you, this movie is grotesque. But for those of you who are looking forward to the new 2022 version of Hellraiser, which is on I believe it's on Hulu right now. I really think you should watch the original Hellraiser and then make your decision. But if you don't know about the original Hellraiser, I'm going to show you the trailer and I'll be back to talk about the movie, give you my breakdown of the movie.
I have seen the future of horror. His name is Clive Barker. Hellraiser. Beyond any terror you have imagined. A nightmare. Unlike anything you have witnessed, is born. Because within these walls, the unholy is unleashed. Hellraiser, a film by Clive Barker. We'll tear your soul apart.
And so there you go.
I have seen the future of horror.
It's replaying for no reason, but there you go. That is the trailer for the 1987 cult classic Hellraiser. Now, I'm gonna give you as best details as I possibly can, but I'm gonna tell you right now, this shit is disgusting. It's an hour and about 33 hour and 34 minutes, so it's not a very long movie, not compared to some of the movies that we have going on today, being 2 hours, 2.5 hours, but you're gonna. This movie is very disgusting. So, where do we begin? Hold up, let me swig some water. All right. So, the movie opens after your opening credits. Movie opens. Guy sitting at the table with this other guy. Looks like a Asian merchant, and he asks, and you're introduced to Frank Cotton right at the beginning of the movie. The opening scene, you're introduced to Frank, and he is sitting at the table with this merchant guy, and the guy says to him, "What is your pleasure?" And sitting on this table is a puzzle box. First of all, first thing I want to say is, if a strange nigga sitting at a table with a box and he asks you what's your pleasure, I'm like, I ain't buying shit from that nigga. But what does Frank do? He antes up. He puts stacks on the table. And I mean stacks. Like, you see $100 bills. He wanted this box. He took the box and says, "You can have the box. The box was always for you." Okay. And mind you, Frank is a hedonist, and he's a traveler. He don't stay in one. You can tell he don't stay in one place, and he's not that clean because his nails was dirty and all that. But regardless, so he goes home. He's on his knees. He's got candles around him. And he's in his attic in his house. And he's solving this puzzle. So what do you see? Once the puzzle is coming together, and he solves it. And what happens? The room starts to light up, and then you see chains come out. Ching, you hear chains, ching, and it starts grabbing him by his arm, his legs, his chest, his face, all that, tearing him apart. Tearing him apart. I mean, this shit is literally just ripping him off piece of skin. Oh my God, it was totally very, 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 very graphic. So then, guy in the black robe gets up, comes out, and he's looking, and then you see all these chains hanging. You see this one thing spinning with a bunch of flesh on it. And then he's searching through the flesh pieces, looking for a piece of Frank's face. He puts Frank's kind of his face back together. He grabs the puzzle box, and then he resets it and fucking disappears. He resets the box, and he disappears. I mean, the opening scene to the movie was disgusting. Was completely disgusting. So then, what happens? You go to, you see the house, and you're introduced to Larry, who's Frank's brother. The house was their parents' house, and he's telling, Julia is his wife's name. Let me make that clear. So they come to the house. Frank didn't want to sell the house, and Larry deduced that he just wanted it to be a hideout, maybe someplace he can go lay low, do his world travel, right? So they go to the house, and he's showing him the house. He's showing her the house. And they're going through the house. They go to the kitchen, which has maggots and damn what the hell, water bugs. Oh my God, that was disgusting. And that was in the kitchen itself. So then they go upstairs. As she goes upstairs, and she sees where Frank, his brother, had been at the house. Larry leaves the room. Julia is going through Frank's stuff and finds a picture of Frank. And she keeps this picture. Now, I thought that was weird as fuck. That's your husband's brother. Why the fuck you gonna keep his picture? You're gonna find out in just a second. So finally, Julia comes out and says, "Hey, let's move into this house." Then Larry's daughter calls. Larry's daughter, Christy. Or Christy, I think that's what her name is. Calls, tells her she's back in town. She's found a little room. It's kind of small, but she would like it. And, but Christy, she's old enough. She's staying with her boyfriend in this room, which is fine. That's cool. She's an adult. What the fuck? Do what she wants to. The dad wanted her to come live in the house with them, but she's like, nah, that's just not what it is, right? So Julia and Larry decide to move into this house. Christy comes over while they're trying to move, and they're trying to move their stuff in. They got a mattress that they're trying to move. They got some moving guys. They're trying to move this mattress upstairs. Christy just sees her dad. She goes. She tries to make some coffee. Julia's upstairs with this picture of Larry's brother Frank. And she rips the picture off as she's looking at him. And it goes to a flashback scene where it shows that before her and Larry got married, that she fucked Frank before they got married. Now, the scene is very, very erotic. And the whole thing is she's into getting pounded, and she doesn't want to have any control. She's into getting pounded. She wants, to get that D, and she wants to be taken control of, and it shows Frank was giving it to her. Frank was giving her the ODD. All right? So she's thinking about it, and while she's up there reminiscing and daydreaming about the shit, in the attic, no less, Larry's trying to move the bed in. He cuts himself deep on a damn on a nail in the house. Now, let me say this. There's no reason why you should be leaking like that. But he got cut deep, and even in the movie it depicts it kind of cut him to the white meat. So he runs upstairs to his wife, and you can tell he's a little punk because he's like, yo, you know how I feel about blood. So he goes upstairs in the attic, and he's leaking right now. Leaking blood, and this blood leaking all over the floor. Now you can tell this is an 80s movie because he shouldn't have been dripping that many buckets of blood. But he's leaking. Leaking. So they go downstairs. They see Christy on the stairs. She says, Julia says, hey, tell you so you can go get stitches for this cut. Because, again, this cut requires stitches, and it is a deep cut. Let me just say that. So the blood drips on the floor in the attic. And then you see the blood getting sucked into the floor. And then you see it takes you to a scene where it goes below the floorboards and you see heart start pumping. And then later on, the floorboards start shaking. And then this disgusting, nasty, oh my God, this was one of the most disgusting scenes I have ever seen. This guy's coming out the floor. Let me see if I can find that scene. Because I have to show you guys. I can't even describe how disgusting this scene is. You have to see it for yourself. Hold on, let me see. I'm trying to find it. There we go. This is disgusting. wanted to show you, show you how disgusting that really is. That is nasty as fuck. Nasty as fuck. That. Imagine you're eating your breakfast, and that's what the fuck you see. That's what you're watching while you're eating your breakfast. So imagine how my stomach felt while that nasty ass shit was going on. So you see him come back. Larry's having some type of dinner party with some friends of his, with his wife, and you can look and tell that his wife is really not into what's going on. She's still daydreaming about Frank. So, what happens? She decides to leave the party, and she goes upstairs. She goes into the attic, and she looks down, and she sees some nasty shit on the floor, and then she sees Frank crawl over, and he's like, yo. He's like, yo, don't look at me. Julia's scared out of her fucking mind. Talking about, who are you? And he tells her, I'm Frank. And he's like, I've come back. And she's like, from where? And she's like, and he doesn't tell her specifically, but he tells her he's back. And she's so obsessed with this guy. She agreed. He tells her, yo, you drop when you drop Larry's blood on the floor, it resurrected me, and in order to come back fully, I need more. So, of course, she's so obsessed with this nigga and so obsessed with the D. This is the true definition of dickmatized. Because she's so obsessed with this D, with this nigga's dick game, that she agrees to help him so he can resurrect himself and come back so that they can run away together. So she agrees to help him, and what she starts doing is she starts going out to the bars, and she picks up these guys. She's going out. She does what she do. She flaunts the woman wears. She uses the power of women's power, and I want y'all to understand, y'all have this power because niggas be wanting. We wanting y'all. Dead ass. She picks him up. She brings him back to the house, takes him in the attic, and then she kills him. And then Frank drains. She takes the first guy, beats him with a hammer, and then drains his life and blood and starts restoring his body. And she was so fucking taken the first time she did it that she went to. You could see she went in the bathroom. She was shaking and she was nervous. Yo, you could tell that totally threw her off. But in one of the scenes, one of the previous scenes, she had wanted him to dig her back out again, and she said, "Please, I'd do anything for it." She was dickmatized back then, and she's still dickmatized right now. Anyway, he drains his life, and then he explains to Julia that he's exhausted all his sensory experiences, so he sought out the puzzle box, which was supposed to give him access to a realm of carnal pleasures. When the puzzle was solved, the Cenobites came, and they subjected him to extreme sadomasochism. For those of you for those of you people, hold up. Oh, okay, there we For anybody who doesn't know what sadomasochism sadomasochism is the giving and receiving of pleasure from acts involving the receipt or infliction of pain or humiliation. All right? So that's these motherfuckers that like to be whipped and blood and stepped on or humiliated. Uh, uh, like if when you ladies, when you see a guy talking about cock over and shit on me, that's humiliation. That he's into sadomasochism. If niggas say, yo, I want you to choke me, they're into sadomasochism. Because that's pain. I'm not into all that. I kind of ain't into all that. There's just some things I ain't into. I ain't into all that shit. That shit to me is kind of crazy. But anyway, so later, as the day goes on, Christy starts having these crazy ass dreams. She's in her room with her boyfriend, and she's at. Oh wait, first they're coming home from her and her boyfriend go out. They're coming home. I guess they go to a bar or a club. I have no idea which one it is, but they're getting on the train, and they're getting on the train, and this homeless guy is looking at them. Looking at her crazy through this wood, and she's like, eh. So then they go on the train, they start kissing, and then she goes to her house that night, and she starts having a crazy dream. And then her boyfriend gets up out of his dream, and he looked like he was involved in the dream. The dream, she seen somebody laying on a table and pulls back the cover with all these feathers. And then pulls back the cover, and it's a dead body, and she starts screaming. First, the boyfriend gets up. Then the boyfriend wakes her up, and she's tripping. The dead body, I think, is her father. So she calls her dad. Dad, you okay? Blah, 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 blah. Dad says, I'm fine. Dad goes back upstairs. Through this time, Julia's, snuck upstairs to the attic and seen Frank. And Frank's telling her, I need more, about 1 or 2 more. And you can see whatever he's doing is bringing him back. It's starting to repair his blood vessels and all that other good stuff. So, eventually, Christy, she goes to her job. She's at work. She's working in a pet store. Crazy, isn't it? She's working in a pet store, and in this pet store, the homeless guy comes in. Well, first she's getting into it with some white lady over a bird. Anyway, she's going, but the homeless guy comes in, and he reaches his hand. She goes out, she gets him out of the counter, and this homeless guy reaches his hand into this tank, and there's a bunch of spiders in it, and then he starts eating them. Disgusting. Total disgusting. She's like, put him back. And then she looks at him, and she sees him eating them, and she's disgusted herself. So she lets him walk out. Her boyfriend comes back in. Boyfriend comes and says, I want to see what you're doing tonight, blah, 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 blah. She said, they'll be all right. They were going to go out, blah, blah, blah. So then, eventually, Christy sees Julia, her father's wife, bringing a man in the house and taking him upstairs. She sneaks into the house, and all the while, Julia's taking the man upstairs so that Frank can drain him. Julia kills the man, or Julia brings the man inside, and then Christy bumps into something or knocks something down, and Julia hears it in the house. So what happens is Frank comes out, takes the guy. Julia goes to see what's going on, and Frank essentially kills the guy and starts draining his life. So Julia, whatever she's doing, she's in the bathroom or wherever she's at in the house, and Christy goes upstairs, and the guy by where the attic's at, she's looking, and the guy comes out the attic, and she's like, "Oh my God!" But it's not the guy she's shocked at. She ends up seeing Frank. Of course, Frank pulls her in. Christy, Mario, grown, come to daddy. So they start fighting and all that other good stuff. And all that other great, they start fighting. Because Frank is going to try to kill her and drain her life. And she's young, so she should, I guess he figures she'll have more life than most of these guys that Julia is bringing home. So while they're struggling, Julia picks up the box, the puzzle box. Frank takes the puzzle box, and she takes the puzzle box. Frank says, "Give me the puzzle box back." Julia's like, Frank's chasing her around the attic with the puzzle with Julia with the puzzle box. She says, "You want it? Go get it." She throws the puzzle box out the window. Frank, of course, is screaming, "No!" like a little bitch instead of getting the box. And then she goes, runs outside, picks up the box. She runs down the block. She eventually passes out, ends up in the hospital. So now what happens is the box is in the room. What happens is she wakes up. She's in the hospital. And a nurse is in the room watching TV. Nurse says, "Oh, you're awake. I'll go get the doctor." And she goes out, and she's like, "Wait, no, I have to call my dad first." She goes out. The nurse says, "Okay, we'll take care of that, but I want to get the doctor first." Doctor comes in, says the same thing. Doctor says, "Hey, do you know what this is?" Julia says, "No, I do not." So the doctor says, "Well, here, you take that. We'll take care of getting we'll get you a phone to call your dad. But here, try to figure out what that is." And leaves the puzzle box on her tray table, and he leaves out. She's trying to get up after he goes. She's trying to get up afterwards and leave the hospital room, but the door is locked. And then, of course, she gets sucked in. She starts playing with the puzzle box. She solves the puzzle box out of curiosity because she didn't have shit else to do. She was bored, and she was doing it. You could tell she was like a little kid. And then the Cenobites come. And what happens is the wall opens up. And it's a hallway, a long, dark hallway. And of course, unlike me, and I think most of my fans or people who's watching, or the black people on the face of the earth, we're not going down a long hallway. We're not going down a long hallway and a long dark hallway, and there's really no light. So then she goes down this hallway, and then this big ass creature, which is called the engineer, comes out. It has like a scorpion tail, and then at the bottom it has a nasty ass face, and starts chasing her ass back up the hallway. This shit is disgusting. This engineer, and she's running out talking about no. She runs back the hallway. She narrowly escapes. She gets back into the room. The wall closes. You can hear the engineer banging on the wall, and then she's trying to get out the hospital room. But of course she can't. But now you see the steam in the wall coming, and here come the Cenobite, Pinhead, all of them. They coming. Hold on. Let me see. Let me see if the other ones have a name. I'm just trying to see if the other Cenobites have a name. Of the other Cenobites have a name besides the engineer and Pinhead. Nope, it doesn't look like the Cenobites have any names. So anyway, moving on. Cenobites comes. So the Cenobites, the Pinhead explains to Christie that they have been perceived as both angels and demons, and they're explorers from another dimension seeking carnal experiences, since they can't no longer differentiate between pain and pleasure. So what happens is that one of them is grabbing her by the neck, about to rip her fucking neck out, and they're telling her, you summoned us, so now you have to go with us. So she's screaming, no, no, no. And then eventually she says, you know Frank Cotton, who is her uncle. Like, just be real. They're like, yes. It's like, then she's like, well, he's escaped from you. And they said, nobody's ever escaped from us. But she's like, no, he's upstairs in my attic. And and the Cenobites say, listen, he has to confess that he is the one, he has escaped from us. But if he doesn't, and you're lying, we're going to tear you apart. Them niggas was going, what? Woo! She was going to get it. So she had to go get Frank. So she goes back to the house. And while in the house, Frank and Julia are upstairs talking. Julia's smoking a cigarette, talking about, oh, she's going to tell the police, we need to get out of here. He's like, I can't go get out of here like this. I need, because he needs skin and all that other good stuff. And, he has, if they want to leave, they got to, he's got to be fully, restored. So, not too long after that, Larry comes home. And of course, in order to, she's so stigmatized by Frank that in order to get him restored faster, they kill Larry. But they kill Larry, and what happens is Christy comes in and says, Dad, Uncle Frank, he's upstairs. He looks disgusting. And she's telling him about the box and all the other good stuff. And she's like, and of course, her dad, Larry, who you will find out is not her dad, says, it's over. I've killed him. He's dead. And Christy says, well, I want to go upstairs and I want to see. And she goes upstairs and it's her dad's corpse, not Larry. It's Larry's corpse and not Frank's corpse. They lock the door behind her. Locking the door behind her, they lock her in. The Cenobites appear, and they're not fooled by the whole deception. They know that that's not Frank, that's Larry. And they demand the man who did this. Christy escapes, but she runs downstairs, and she's held, Julia grabs her while she's going downstairs and holds her. Frank reveals himself under Larry's skin. And he's talking about, because he's trying to fuck Christy on top of that. And you got to think about it. Julia was down to let him fuck Christy. Because she a little nasty heifer her damn self. But when Christy says no, Frank pulls out his knife. Christy gets away from Julia. Frank stabs Julia. He drains Julia, and then essentially what he does is takes Julia upstairs, puts her in the bed with the box, and you can see all the chains with the box, and they come and get her, but they already know what it is. So what happens is a cat and mouse game goes on. She scratches Frank and leaves a nasty gash in his face. And it's disgusting. It's leaking. It's dripping. It's doing all this nasty stuff, right? So he chases her all the way upstairs, and they get to the attic. And this is where he gets to the attic, and he wants to kill her. But then you see the lights come up just like in the beginning of the movie. And the Cenobites appear. The thing, the swinging thing, you see all the chains, and you see the thing that was flailing the cook that had flesh on it. Oh my God. And it was swinging around, and he appears after the Cenobites appear. Right after they hear him confess that he escaped from them. And just as he goes to kill her, what happens? The chains, chink, 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 chink. Here come the chains. They're pulling his skin back. And she's getting ready to escape the room. And Frank's last words were something about God. It was a crazy last word before she closed the door and his head exploded. But the Cenobites fucking reneged on their word. Because she went and got the box, and they were trying to get her. She went and got the box from Julia's hands, because the box was in her hands, and she was chained up. And each one of the Cenobites was coming to get her, and she was reversing the puzzle. And as she was doing it, each of them were banished back to wherever realm they come from. But all while she's doing this, the house is collapsing. It's falling apart. The inside of the house. And her boyfriend comes and is trying to find her, and the house is still collapsing. And she's getting ready, each of the Cenobites. She gets downstairs to him. They're getting ready to go out the front door. And, of course, one last Cenobite, the engineer, comes, and they're fighting the engineer. They're twisting the box. She gets rid of him. They get out the house. So they go to, like, a field where there's a bunch of fires lit. And Christy takes the puzzle box and throws it in the fire. Now, I'm thinking this shit is going to melt or whatever. But no, the same homeless man who had been following her throughout the whole movie walks into the fire, sets himself on fire, takes out the puzzle box, and then transforms into this boneless winged skeleton creature and flies away. And I'm like, this shit is weird as fuck. So then you see at the end that the box ends up back with the guy who sold the box to Frank. And his last words are, what is your pleasure? And the movie ends. And I'm like, all this time I'm watching this fucking movie. And I'm like, oh, this is disgusting. This is just crazy. It was disgusting. It was disgusting. So, wait, hold on. There might be names for the Cinematic. No, there's no name. But it's like, yo, that movie, oh, made my stomach. Oof, Lord Jesus. So anyway, there goes your review of Hellraiser. If I had to give it a rating, that's 3 out of 5 stars because the kills are creative. They're very graphic. The story is still a little flele, but if you like Final Destination, you should like this movie. But I think Final Destinations, I like their premise. I like the premise better than I like this here. And I think I'm gonna put one of the Final Destinations on the movie for next week. So there you go with your review. Like I said, of Hellraiser. If I had to rate it again, I'd give it a 3 out of 5. I know I didn't give Child's Play a rating for last week, so for last week Child's Play rating, I would give it a 4 out of 5, only because Child's Play is still a classic and is one of my favorite horror flicks ever. But this is a 3 out of 5. If you can't stomach nasty shit like that, oh my God, you're not. This is not for you. Definitely. All right. So let's get to the last thing we have to talk about before I give away my weekly get the fuck out of here award. Kanye West. Let me just say this. Kanye West, to me, is a musical fucking genius. He helped craft one of my favorite artists, one of his best albums ever, Jay-Z, The Blueprint. He's produced for many people that I love, from Talib Kweli to Mos Def to Pusha T, and he's made some genius music. But Kanye West has I'm not understanding what the fuck is wrong with him. He needs to take his meds. He definitely needs to take his fucking meds. I swear to God. This man needs to take his meds, and really, I'm dead ass. But let's go to the visual proof. Chase Bank has decided to end their relationship with Kanye and his company, Yeezy, and any of its affiliated entities. Don't believe me? Let's read it together. As it says, important, closing of our banking relationship. Dear Ye, and then it has something blacked out. We are sending you this letter to confirm our recent discussion with blank that J.P. Morgan Chase Bank, N.A., the bank, has decided to end its banking relationship with Yeezy, LLC, and its affiliated entities, collectively the company. To provide the company with sufficient time to transition to another financial institute, we will continue to maintain the account attached as Exhibit A, including all related products and services until November 21st, 2022. To avoid any transaction delays, we suggest that you stop processing company transactions and or using any products associated with the account 5 business days before the scheduled closure date set forth above. After that date, the bank will close any open accounts, and after deduction of any permissible service charges and pending transactions, remit all remaining funds in the form of a check delivered to the company at the address of record. We ask that you act promptly, transfer your business to another financial institute before November 21st. If you have any questions or comments, please feel free to call your usual banking contact. Thank you for your attention to this matter. Sincerely, J.P. Morgan Chase. Now, bravo, Chase. Now, I'm going to say this. I bank with Chase. Living here in New York, there's Chase every fucking way. So it didn't make it a hard decision to decide when I decided to choose my own bank to bank with Chase. And you know, they have different things and stuff like that that make it more amenable to me as a customer to where I bank at. But let me say this. Bravo, Chase. Because this is the reality of the situation. And this goes back to what I was saying. This goes back to what I was doing, what I said in the beginning about Alex Jones. You just can't do what the fuck you want and think you're going to get away with it. Now, there's going to be some bank, whether it be Bank of America or some other bank, that's going to take this man's money, put it in an account for him, and hold it for him, and do all his business and everything, and take care of everything he needs, because it's about money. But Chase made this clear. This is not about money. You crazy, nigga. You stupid. And you're crazy. And you just run around saying what you want to say, doing what you want to do. You trying to capitulate with these rich white folks, and these rich white folks don't give two shits about you, a la J.P. Morgan Chase. He doesn't understand that no matter what, all this capitulating you doing with that White Lives Matter sweat and all that, you still a nigga to all these people. You are a fucking nigga to all these people. These people that don't give a fuck. You can't be in the inner circle. You is still a nigga. You may be a billionaire, but you still a fucking nigga to all these people. And my thing is, Kanye, like, you're talking about your ex-wife and your kids, you're making all this beef and all that, but then you go and do stupid shit. You go and make yourself look dumb. And like I said, look, you're entitled to say and do what you want, but you have to understand that you're going to pay the price for whatever you do. And now you have to move everything. Now you have to take the time to talk to banks and all that when you could be doing something else completely different. And working on yourself, working on the relationship with your ex-wife and your kids. But yet you're dealing with this because you want to be doing dumbness. You're not doing freedom. You're not talking about freedom of speech, freedom of this, freedom of that. What you're doing is being dumb and showing them why black people, showing why they think all black people is stupid. Kanye, the sooner you start taking your meds, the sooner you start getting it into your head that you are still a nigga to these people, the better off you will be, and the more you'll get a better result out of that. And I'm sorry, this is what you put yourself in this position, and it is what it is. So here we go. So now we're getting ready to end the show. I've had fun. I've talked about a movie. I've talked about two stupid people. And now, of course, as we end the show, I've always got to do this.
Get the fuck out of here!
Like, people don't understand. So, here we go. This week's Get the Fuck Out of Here award is going to Candace Owens. Why is it going to Candace Owens? Well, let's start. Let's just go to it.
You know, I did it because Kanye called me and he said that he needed me to be there.
Let's just go to it and show you why she's getting the Get the Fuck Out of Here award. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Candace Owens.
You know, I did it because Kanye called me and he said that he needed me to be there at the show and he needed me to be a part of the show. And when he told me what he had in mind and wearing these T-shirts, which, by the way, he told me the day of, I instantly understood what he was trying to do and what the artistic expression was. What it offered was a stunning commentary on the hypocrisy of the society that we live in. For years, we were told that Black Lives Matter was not an exclusionary phrase. We were told that it's just what we're saying. We're not trying to leave white people out, right? We're just saying this because this is a moment that Black Americans need to have in this country. They were totally fine when Asian Lives Matter became a slogan as well. Asians, by the way, are doing better in this country economically than white Americans. They're more successful in education as well, and they're more likely to get credit cards, as just one example. And yet, despite all of that, it was okay to say Asian Lives Matter. We put on a T-shirt to actually do something that was inclusive, to say, actually, white Americans, you are allowed to be a part of this too, because literally all lives matter. You know, I did it because Kanye called me and he said that he needed me to be there at...
Wait. That's one. That's one. Hold up. Here we go. Let's go here.
Watch college football all season long, live and cable-free.
There are way more intellectual Black Democrats you could have sat down with, yet you chose an illiterate rapper, because that's what she is. She's illiterate.
Yeah, that's Candace Owens throwing some major shade at Cardi B following the rapper's chat with presidential candidate Joe Biden. And Cardi, she's not having it. Oh, snappity snap snap. It all started on Sunday when Candace tweeted this clip of herself on the Ben Shapiro show, accusing both the former vice president and Bernie Sanders of pandering to black people by conducting interviews with Cardi.
It is demeaning. It is pandering. It is ridiculous, okay? And she asked pointedly ridiculous questions. I want lower taxes, but I want universal health care for all. She had no idea what she was doing, and yet both Bernie Sanders and Joe Biden made the time to sit with her because they believe black people are stupid. And black people that thought, yay, that's a win. No, it's not a win.
Yeah, she didn't sugarcoat it.
It is one of the biggest insults.
And Cardi, who has opened up before about English not being her first language, fired back on Twitter, writing in part, quote, I don't want to argue with you, Candace. I really don't have the time. I honestly just feel sorry for you. But that's not all Cardi had to say to the conservative commentator. Not even close. Quote, you are encouraging millions to vote for a man who laugh every time a black man gets killed by a cop and tell millions of Americans to drink bleach. Trump didn't even have you talking at the Republican convention. He thinks you're dumb.
Oh, yes, honey.
Candace responded, claiming that she turned down making an appearance at the Republican National Convention.
I get tired of your commenters and your fans saying, oh, she's clout chasing. I'd be clout chasing if I was challenging you to a rap battle. I'm not doing that. You're in my area. You're in politics. You're embarrassed because you realize you know nothing about anything when you're on Twitter.
Candace did an 8-minute-long IGTV in response to Cardi on Sunday.
You're only upset because people are telling you on Twitter that you got dragged, because you did get dragged, because you are uneducated when it comes to politics.
Candace also mocked Cardi for asking Biden about lowering taxes while also wanting free universal health care. Cardi clarified in a later tweet that she wants her taxes to go to causes she cares about, like education. And that's when Cardi took the feud to Instagram Live.
Why wouldn't Joe Biden sit down with me, Cardi B? I have millions of followers, and I pay millions in taxes. I'm heard all around the world. So just like I can make people pop their and have a good time.
Just to show you a couple of things. So, Candace Owens, the reality of the situation is this. Candace Owens, all you do is run your mouth about how we as black people are made to look stupid. But you're making yourself look fucking stupid. You're making yourself look ignorant. You're making yourself look even worse. And then, to top it all off, you went out and wore that fucking shirt, knowing that Black Lives Matter is not just a slogan. It is it's more than that slogan. See, what you gotta understand is you're equating Black Lives Matter to the movement where the person did wrong, instead of equating it to the movement itself. Because the Black Lives Matter is not a movement that belongs to one person. It belongs to all of black people. You want to know why Asian people could say Asian lives matter? I'm going to tell you why. Because they were getting killed. They're getting jumped. They're getting racially profiled. So hell yeah, they're allowed to scream that. White people can't scream that because they're not running around getting killed. They're not running around having to worry about the police pulling them over. They ain't worried. They ain't got to worry about just running to the store to get in Arizona and then being chased down and shot. They don't have to worry about these things. But this pigmentation, we do. And you're looking like a straight asshole, a straight asswipe right now, talking about, other people are looking stupid, and talking about, I'm trying to start a movement that you're trying to start a movement where, it's we should all be. We should all hold up. We should all. It should all be one thing. Nobody should be left out. Bitch, please. Bitch, please. Bitch, please. All right? Because at the end of the day, you're just doing dumbness. You're just doing dumbness, and you're making it worse for us as black people, because when they know they have somebody on the other side, on our side, that looks like us, spewing their stupidness, then they know, oh, we got one, we've got two, we've got three, we've got four, we've got a bunch of them. Bitch, please. Go climb under the rock, go suck that white dick that you've been sucking, and don't say nothing about black people. Don't get me wrong, I don't like to see nobody get punched in the eye, but I kind of wish Cardi B would punch her in the fucking eye, to be perfectly honest. But since I can't do it, and I don't condone violence, Candace Owens, this is what you get.
Get the fuck out of here!
You know what? You're gonna get it again.
Get the fuck out of here!
And you know what? Here we go. Let's do it a third time.
Get the fuck out of here!
I mean, seriously? Like, come on, people. Come on. Anyway, it was fun. It's been another week down. Couple weeks. We got 3 weeks in a row that's gone down. And, we are going to keep it going. Even when I go back to work, when I get my schedule, I will plan in advance. We will keep this going. But until next week, as always, you can find me at sowwhatyousaying5@gmail.com. That's SOWTUSAYIN5@gmail.com. You can also find us on Facebook at So What You Saying, Instagram at So What You Saying, Twitter at What's Saying, or hit up our link tree, which will give you access to everything, including our website. Also, follow us on Twitch, www.twitch.tv/So What You Saying. Sign up, give us a follow. It'll be greatly appreciated. It will help grow the program and the channel. I would like to thank everybody that joined me this week. This has been a wonderful, wonderful week. I will see you all next week. And as always, stay safe.